you so, Joe. Thank you. I always remind people whenever I'm talking to an audience, I always remind them of one really important fact that we sometimes forget in many of our organizations. It's a fact that gets lost in the chaos of the present, the chaos of the urgent. It's a fact that gets lost in our departmental objectives. It's a fact that gets lost with our personal objectives and our personal development. And that fact is a very simple fact. The fact is that our brands, no matter what company we work for, no matter what sector we work for, whether we are owning the company or whether we are an employee of a company, the fact is that our brands are the most important property of this company. And we also forget that managing a brand, building a brand, investing a brand, is not just the responsibility of one department. It is too important a responsibility to be given just to one department. It is a responsibility that has to be shared across the whole of the organization. Because in every organization, every individual, every one of you and your colleagues in your organizations, each of you have the opportunity to either add value to your brand or to take value away. It's very clear the world is in recession, which means that over the course of the next year, the World Trade Organization is predicting a 10%, nearly a 10% drop in world trade. And let's not kid ourselves. This is not something that in the world economy we will see a significant turnaround in the next year. This will take a long time to resolve. In this period, the consumer is reducing spending. When people are not confident, they reduce what they spend. They save more. We're seeing in the USA, for example, where saving levels were actually negative, if that is possible, people actually spending more than they have, putting it on their credit cards, putting it outside. We have seen that shift, and now people are starting to save up to 10% of their income. So a dramatic shift in saving. They're very less confident, so they don't go out and spend. They put more of their salary in savings, or they pay down their debt. And we see them in many of our markets trading down. So they don't go down to the lowest price, but they may go down one level. And this we see especially in the fashion industry, in personal care, and in food. What's happening with retailers and customers out there? Well, as businesses, and probably you have been going through this in many of your businesses, cash is king. You have to prioritize cash, and therefore you have to ensure that you keep your cash to ensure your working capital. Some companies have actually gone through some very, very tough times. They've seen dramatic reductions in top-line sales and consequently, and in some cases irreparably, damage to the bottom line. We see them dramatically trying to reduce cost. Therefore, it's very important that we look at this as an opportunity, because this is a reality that is here to stay. And given the fact that brands are the most important asset that a company owns, those companies who are able to focus on their brands and to really identify opportunities to build more brand value during this period are companies that will emerge in a stronger way out of this quite dramatic crisis. So what we've done is we've looked at what could be and what is the 9 critical success factors that companies operate to come out of this crisis in a far stronger way than when they went inside. Now, in many cases, there are companies who will have a clear vision and strategy, a clear direction, where they're going, what they will achieve. But in most cases, many companies are not living a vision and strategy throughout their organization. As a business, you should always be looking to review your vision and strategy. Is it aligned? Now, in a crisis, is the best time to look at this because things will have changed. Dynamics will have changed in your marketplace. Consumers will have changed their behavior, customers will have changed their behavior, and now it's very important just to reassess that you are heading in the right direction, that you are able to align your objectives and your measures. But don't lose sight of the long term. As I said, these crises will come and go, and there will be times when you will return to growth. The best companies are those that are able to cascade their vision and their strategy down to the level of personal objectives, so that every single individual, from the president to the receptionists, knows how they need to act, how they need to deliver the objectives, how they need to build brand. And there are many definitions of brand, but the one I like most is that the brand is the sum, the summary, the combination of all the elements of your emotional relationship with your customers and your consumers. It's not the label that you put on your product, it is the meaning that your symbol, your name, inspires in your consumers and your customers. Therefore, it is very important that you ensure that people understand it, that you invested it in a consistent way so that it delivers over many years. So, as I said, every individual in an organization has the power to add value or take value away from the brand. So it is critical, especially in these moments of crisis, that people understand brand, understand what is how they perform, how they behave, so that they can deliver the brand at every point of contact that they have with the outside world. A great mark, and I find this in some of the great organizations, those organizations where I can go and I can ask the receptionist or the man at the gate or the salesman or the president, and I will get more or less a consistent answer about what is their brand, what are they there for, what are they there to deliver. In periods of growth, most companies develop a portfolio strategy. They focus their business on different portfolios of product, and typically, in a typical organization, what you will find is that there will be a core of products, those that perhaps represent 80% of the value of the business, and there will be other products which will be potentially products for the future. And in times of growth, what companies tend to do is focus their investments mainly on those products that will deliver potential growth in the future. And they use the core of products to basically to return the investment. In times of growth, this is absolutely the right thing to do. But in times of crisis, you have to rethink this. I would recommend that the core becomes the focus, that you sustain it. You, of course, keep the news, but that you start to really think critically about investments in too many new, too many different innovations. Every brand, every company will have what you call your loyal or heavy users. So within your portfolio of customers, there will be those that will deliver to you more value, potentially 80% of the value versus the rest of your organization, of your customers. You want to ensure that you know who these people are. So those companies that are successful really deeply understand their loyal and heavy customers. Advice would be ensure that you have a very clear segmentation. What is a segmentation? It is a way to identify which are going to be your heavy users, your loyal users, and your high potential users. We must always remember the brand is the most important asset that we own, but the brand does not exist within our walls, does not exist within our marketing departments or our warehouses. The brand only exists in the minds of our customers and our consumers. And therefore, if we are to build strong brands, we have to respect the thoughts, the beliefs, the needs, the insights about our consumers and customers. Because unless we deeply understand them, we cannot succeed in building brands.